Hi, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, Travis, you're here too. I didn't see you there.
Imagine that.
Yeah. I'm Brandon, and he's Travis, and this is really, really badly episode 7. Is that right?
Yes, I think so.
Nice.
It might be, it might not be.
We don't know. This is called social media strategies, or at least that's what I call it. We're talking about we're still on our social media kick, and we're talking
Yep.
about strategies for making sure it doesn't take over your life.
Yep. I've been calling it best practices, but whatever.
Okay. Well, we'll rock, paper, scissors over that later.
Sounds good. Yeah, so we're just going to cover kind of different things that Brandon and I do that we have found work for us to help it not take over our lives, things that we might be able to do better, and some other suggestions that we uh, researched and found out about. So hope you guys enjoy it, get something out of it, and that you start having a more prosperous life because of it.
Yeah, let's get started. This is really, really badly.
Social media strategies slash best practices slash how not to let it take over your life. Episode 7, we think.
We think.
Brandon,
Yes, Travis.
I like this topic, and I like that I'm talking about this topic with you because you are probably one of the few people, friends that I know who have actually done things to help not make it take over their life. That sounds bad. No,
I've
but
done things.
I know that you've taken some measures in the past when you felt like some social media outlets were taking over your life. So,
Well,
can you
thank you.
start us off with why you've done that, why you think it might be important, and then what you've done in the past that you've found has been good, or if it wasn't good, why it wasn't good?
Sure, I can take a crack at all those things. Um, yeah, I mean, I admit I feel like a bit of a hypocrite doing
Well,
this subject. I mean, yeah, just
dude, me too.
it pulls you in, right?
Yeah.
It's so addictive. Um,
Well, I think the point one thing. Well, before we get into it, then I think one point to make too is like, yes, we're not like saying we're professionals that like we have found enlightenment in
yeah,
how to
we're
not
Zen
let
over
this
here.
take over our lives. Like we're just above everybody else in how much time we are and how productive we are and how much I don't sit on my bed after work and waste 45 minutes scrolling through Facebook videos because when you watch the one, then it goes to the next one and you just and then you're like, what the hell? I just wasted 45 minutes on my weekend.
I think you might have something to work out there, Travis.
But yeah, so no.
Yes. Yeah, yes. All
These are
that to
more
say,
like things we found that work somewhat, maybe work better, things we could do better that we know we should be doing, or musings on the subject. Like yeah,
yeah,
we don't have it all together, like all of our topics.
yeah,
But
doing it
yes.
really, really badly.
So exactly.
Really, really badly
Yes.
style. Um,
But we're doing
yeah.
it.
So, I mean, yes, there have definitely been times in my life where I've realized that social media was just really taking things over. It was really not just taking up a lot of my time, but also dictating my mood oftentimes.
Mm.
And I think that's one of the bigger things that I want to talk about today is when being able to be self-aware enough to kind of realize when it's becoming kind of a toxic thing, because we've talked about a lot of different aspects during this kind of social media cruise that we've been on the past few episodes. Um, and we've talked about some of the really good things. But when does it turn into a thing that's really taken away your time and your life and your focus, your energy? So yes, there have been a few times in my life where just realized, okay, this is taking way too much time. It's taking way too much effort. It's taking it's taking a lot of my joy because I'm comparing myself all the time to everyone else's life, you know,
Yeah.
or what they portray their life to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think we've both kind of talked about that stuff both on this podcast and just, you know, when we chat and catch up. I think we both kind of recognize those times, and I'm sure everyone has them. So yeah, I mean, just to kind of start us off, I guess, one of the biggest things for me that I've tried in the past and has been pretty good is just a fast, just kind of a social media fast, you know, of just giving it one whole week or even two,
Okay.
where you just, you know what, not doing it, not opening it. I'm turning the notifications off. I might even delete the apps on my phone, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's hard. At least for me it was. Yeah, I found it very difficult the first few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it gets easier over time, I found. And ultimately I found it to be a very good thing. Like it was really really great because you start realizing how, well, first off, you realize how much you use it,
Right.
and how much of your time it actually does take. But being able to kind of take control of it and be like, well, my life is still my life, even when it's not, you know, even when I'm not on these sites all the time. You know, I'm still me. I'm still just doing my stuff. Um,
hmm
yeah. So I thought that was a really, really good strategy to kind of put social media back in its place. And
Right.
yeah.
When you say it was hard, do you mean like what? In what ways was it hard? Was it hard to not compulsively check your phone? Was it hard because you felt lonely or bored? Like, what about it made it hard? Or yeah, if there was multiple things, I guess.
hmm I mean, yes, to kind of all those things you said. It is hard because it's a compulsory thing. Uh, when when I feel awkward socially, which is pretty much all the time, that one of the perfect crutches is just to take out your phone and pretend like you're busy, but really all you're doing is checking
Right.
Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and you kind of ride out these lulls in conversation or these silences or these times where you feel like I have nothing to contribute to this conversation
Right.
or I just feel awkward right now, and you kind of ride them out through this crutch of social media sometimes or your phone. So those are difficult for sure. But then also, yeah, when you aren't looking on these sites all the time, you can feel kind of disconnected all of a sudden. You can feel kind of lonely in a weird sort of way. And we talked about before, the connection online, I don't know, most of the time it's not actually that much of a connection.
Right.
But you still, I don't know, you still kind of feel that loss, and you start to feel uninteresting, or at least that's what I felt. I'm like, man, I'm just so boring because I'm not up to anything, or I'm not in the in crowd right now, you know.
Yeah.
But it's so stupid that we should feel that way, but it's a very real thing, you know.
Right. Yeah, because it's not true. It's just kind of a perception, I guess.
Yeah.
What's going on?
hmm
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's great. Like I've said, it's a wonderful way to get things back in perspective. My roommate Kenton did one recently that was only supposed to go like about a week or maybe two, but it ended up going like a month. Like he said, it was such a
Oh, nice.
positive thing for him to not have for a little while,
Yeah.
you know.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
Have you ever tried a media fast?
I've never done like a purposeful, like, okay, I need to like not do this. There was like a point when I was like, I was checking, I usually keep up to date on my Instagram feed. You'll scroll down till I've seen a picture that I previously saw before. There was a point where like I was following so many people, like it would take like 40 minutes, to like catch up. And I wasn't consciously like, I'm going to stop and not do this. It was like, it took so much time. I just kind of was like, I don't care about like, and so I just didn't, there was a period of time, maybe like, a month and a half where I just like didn't check it nearly as often as I usually had, but it wasn't like an intentional fast. I've never done one of those before. So
yeah.
And I don't. Yeah, I've never really felt the need to do one, I guess, not because I spend enough, not because I'm spending too much time or whatever, because I'm sure, I do, and there are definitely times I've noticed it, but just because I don't know, I've never felt like I'd be successful at it or that it would help much. Because I think for me, it would be hard unless I like deleted or, suspended my accounts. I think I would end up checking it. Like, just, I like, if I was, had an hour of free time that I was bored, wasn't doing anything else, I'd probably just end up checking it. And then that, so that's why I was asking if it was hard in that way, because I could see myself, unless taking some kind of more drastic step in the fast of being like, all right, giving my passwords to a friend or, like deleting it or suspending it. I don't know if I'd actually be able to do it for that long. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't done one for a long time. I don't feel the need to do it all the time.
Right.
And it sounds like, I don't know, that whole idea of self-regulation, when you notice, okay, this is getting a little out of hand, kind of being able to be self-aware enough to say like, okay, this is a little much. I think you need to scale it back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. And for me, it's if I can't self-regulate.
Right.
If I notice the stuff and I still am like, I still can't stop. That's when it needs to get kind of drastic.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So there's one I've actually been doing since we started this social media like series, if you will. Because when we first started talking about this, I did like a tiny bit of like, I think I typed into Google like, best ways to use social media or something like that. And one of the things that came up, which I've been doing for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks, was just to turn off notifications on my phone. I read that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I've never even really thought about doing that because, it always asks if you want to, and I always say yes and just whatever. So I went through and I turned off notifications on everything except for phone calls, text messages, and like another messaging app, WhatsApp, that I have that I use to talk with friends overseas. And so, and those are, at least on iPhones, the little red dots with like a number on it, right? So like usually if I had like a Facebook notification, it'd be this little red dot over the Facebook thing with like the number 4 for 4 notifications, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, I know other phones have similar things. I don't know if they all work the same or not, but and I had it on for email. Like, email always had a red number over it. Facebook almost always had a red number over it when I opened it. A bunch of apps that I had these red numbers, and it was caught in. I'm gonna keep doing this probably for forever because it's been awesome. I've noticed that I just don't, because I will look at my phone a lot, open it up, look at the home screen, whether I'm just looking at the time or whether I am checking for like a text message or a missed phone call. But if I see the red over the Facebook or the red over the Instagram, I'll go into it to clear it out. And it's all, because it's almost like a checklist, like OCD thing of like, I got to get rid of those red dots. And it was just getting to be like too much, especially because up here, since I moved in the mountains, I joined a group. It's like a swap group for like selling things, kind of like a Craigslist, but on Facebook for this area.
Cool.
And then I was also added to my work's social Facebook page. So like the Facebook notifications have been going crazy since I moved up here because there's just always someone who's posting something that they're trying to sell or looking for. And then there's always someone like checking in at the airport, and I'm getting a notification for that or for comments that people or likes. And it's just like, whoa, like this doesn't even have to do with me anymore. This is like my work. And it's just getting to be way too much. So I was finding that I was going into these apps because of these red dots, but then there was nothing even there that I wanted to see or anything. I was just going into clicking the notifications, refreshing it so it'd clear out the dots, and then exiting the app. And I was like, what am I doing, And so yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Like I don't, and what I found is like I will check my normal social media accounts on my phone now, like once or twice a day, depending which one it is, or maybe even like once every other day. So like Snapchat, like I probably check that like every other day now because I just don't see those red dots, and I don't get like tons of Snapchats or anything, so I'm not like really like playing catch up when I don't get in there and there's like 20 things I'm trying to like catch up on. So I don't, I'm not like missing out. I don't have this like FOMO thing going on. Check Facebook maybe like once or twice a day. The one I check the most is probably Instagram, but I definitely don't open it as much as I was. And it's been awesome. Like, it's just been really good. Like, I'll just, when I look at my phone and there's no notification, I'll put it back down rather than like holding it for another 10 seconds. And even that is just, I know it's been good. It's just freed up a lot of headspace, I guess, more than anything.
That's really cool.
Just to keep focused on what I'm focused on and not feel like I have something I need to be checking just because something's telling me to, because those red notifications, man, they suck you in. Like, that's what they're for, right? Is notifications.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing the last few weeks, and it's been awesome. Gonna keep doing it. And it's cool because you can actually customize those pretty well to like certain notifications that it does let through or certain ones it doesn't. So if there's something that actually is important that you need to know about, like, great, So that one is kind of the main one that I have been doing and will continue to do. And I'd give it a 5 fingers up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's great.
Yeah. It's just super simple, it's like,
yeah. My phone has little like yellow circles.
Okay.
I think it is. But yeah, I remember even today I was scrolling through my home screen and there was a Facebook notification, and you're right. I can't resist that. Mm-hmm. Can't resist that shit. And I remember opening it, and all that it was just Facebook had sent me a message saying, "You've posted 2 days in a row. People are noticing."
What?
Yeah,
I've never seen it. Dude,
I know. I hadn't seen that either. Like, it's just Facebook sucking you in just to tell you to post more.
It's literally not even a social thing happening on the social media website at that point.
Yeah.
And, that's something that, like, I feel like these companies are getting more insane with their notification systems, because when I go into Twitter now and I'll see like I haven't tweeted in like a month, right? And I'll see that I have like 5 notifications. Every single one of them is this person tweeted this, or this person liked a tweet, and it's like, it has nothing. I'm like, I don't even know this person in real life. Like, why are you telling me? It's all just straight from Twitter.
Yeah.
And now we're getting ones from Facebook, and I think it's because these companies, they all have they always have to grow so much every year, and it's unsustainable.
Yeah. They're smart. They're really smart. Like, they prey on that dopamine rush, that we all get.
But it is kind of ridiculous because it's getting out of hand, which is all the more reason to kind of take a look at these notifications and maybe decide to stop with them or whatever. But that's crazy. That's crazy. And it makes me so mad too, because it's like, I don't care to see your stuff. Like, if someone's liking something that I posted or commenting on something that I posted, great, let me know about that. But when you're just letting me know nothing for no reason, it's like, screw you. Like, I don't want this crap. Like, so
yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, that one's interesting.
Totally. Two apps I wanted to mention that I found very helpful in the past, because obviously there's a market out there for apps that'll help you focus and cut out some of this noise from notifications and stuff.
Yep.
There's the Off Time app.
Okay.
OFFTIME. That one's mostly for your phone. And it's really great. I've only used it a handful of times, but I'm learning a bit more and more how to use it. But basically, you set a timer for what you want your off time to be.
Yeah.
And you say what apps are okay to run through off time. Mm-hmm. So it does require a bit of self-control on your part to be able to say, no, I don't need to have Facebook running during off time,
right.
Or I don't need the Facebook Messenger or Instagram to be running during off time. But you can still choose, sometimes I like to listen to audiobooks or podcasts. So those can be running during your off time.
Right.
And you can even customize what sort of notifications you'll be getting, such as texts or calls,
Okay.
if it's an important thing. But you can block those things as well if you really want your off time to be just completely,
Right. Interesting.
you know,
Nice.
zen. And what I really like is that it's very thoughtful design in that it's a very calming screen, and just aesthetically it's nice, and it makes a point of saying, relax. Everything, your phone is fine.
Right.
Enjoy your off time.
Nice.
And even just being able to kind of have those mindful little reminders
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
everything's fine, world's not going to fall apart if I can't look at all these apps,
Right.
sort of thing. Yeah, it's a
Cool.
it's
I
a
like
thoughtful
that.
app. It's really
Nice.
nice.
Stop
Yeah.
time. I'm gonna look that one up.
Yeah, off time.
Or off time. Sorry.
Yeah, stop time would be rad. 'Cause-
Yeah, I want an app for that, man. I'd spend all my time on that app doing
Yeah.
some time control.
And wouldn't lose any time.
Yes. I
Yeah.
could just look at everything.
Everything. um, and the other one is called Self Control.
Okay.
And that one I mostly use for a laptop. And that one's good for if you have a big project coming up, or if you're a student, if you have a paper to write, I'd really recommend Self Control. You can customize what sites are allowed and which ones aren't.
Oh, nice.
And so, so you create like your blacklist sort of thing.
Hmm.
And
So you can
Yeah.
still like research and stuff online. You just can't go to like Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Nice.
yeah. And that one, again, both of these things require a bit of self-control because you need to be honest with yourself about, what do I need to distract myself from?
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
think this whole topic kind of does, I mean, there's going to be people
Yeah.
who hear this and go like, I don't care that I have a problem, or I don't think I have a problem, and I'm just not going to deal with it. There's
Yeah,
not really
fair enough.
much we can do for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
No,
But
it's
yeah, no,
okay.
I agree. Like there's a certain amount of like intentionality you have to put behind this stuff, and
Hmm.
I mean that's what we're all about here with really really badly. This whole thing we've
Yeah.
started is like just being more purposeful, intentional with our lives and the way that we go about doing things and the way that
Yeah.
we live. To cut out the chaff, to have more purpose and more. Yeah, just whatever. So.
Hmm. Yeah. And to those people who don't think they need this, I will say one thing. It is proven that in order to get in a state of flow where your brain is actually focused on one thing, where it's actually firing on all cylinders, where it's focused, such as, say, a paper or a project or an important email you have to write, or even work, just being at your job, the brain needs about 15 minutes of uninterrupted time where you are focusing on that one thing
Interesting.
to get into a state of flow. And if you don't give it that 15 minutes, or if it's interrupted by, Facebook or yeah, exactly. Mine makes a little bird noise now,
That
which
is
is kind of annoying and kind of great.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's interrupted by that, then the 15 minutes starts over again, and I think a lot of people go through their whole day
Yeah.
with, they never get in flow because they never have 15 minutes of uninterrupted
Yeah.
focus,
Definitely, yeah. And I think that kind of brings up a point too of like, and we're about to go through probably a bunch more suggestions. We've talked about the ones that worked for us. The key here is as well as like you don't need to do all of these things, right?
Yeah.
Some of them are going to help, some of them aren't. So like understanding your own patterns, your own habits, the things that draw you in is really important. So if even just taking like time of being like, I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to try to observe and intend, like consciously notice what it is that I'm doing, and because how are you distracted, right? Like my phone can be dinging and buzzing and whatever, and I can ignore it. Like I've taught myself like how to not even flinch. I'd be talking to
Nice.
somebody and I won't even break sentence, right? Like, but you've definitely met those people, right? Who like anytime, even if it's on silent and the light comes on, their head literally, it's like,
Yeah.
Jackie Chan, like it just can't not look, right? Or like if it buzzes or dings, they're instantly like just like ripped out of the conversation, and their eyes go straight to their phone. And like there's nothing more maddening to me than when people do that when I'm trying to talk to them, because I'm like, this is just like totally disrespectful. But
Yeah.
aside from that, like how are you distracted, right? Like for me, like I could leave my phone on loud all day long, and it doesn't even break my focus or what I'm paying attention to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the type of person who just can't help themselves when they feel it buzz in their pocket or whatever, turn it on silent. Like just turn it on silent, and then when you go to check your phone, you'll just be naturally going to check your phone. You're not going to be checking your phone whenever your phone is telling you to, So that's one I didn't write down, but that's just one as we're talking that I thought of. Like, it's important to know what's going to be effective for you. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of one of the, like I said, one of the main things that, it's one of the main things that I kind of wanted to talk about today is just being able to recognize your own feelings and patterns. Yeah, just being self-aware is really, really good.
Yeah.
Without judging yourself too much, I mean, we all have issues with this thing, or maybe not issues, but we all use it a bit more than we know we should.
Right. Like could do better, could improve. Yeah.
Totally.
And I think that's one thing, like if people are trying to be intentional about it, or, trying to figure out what's wise for them or what's going to be better for them, is go easy on yourself, right? Like you are trying, you're at least at that point where you're like, okay, I'm trying to make a change, something needs to change. That's great. Like, give yourself that space to work and get better and do the process of improving. Because the fact that you're there is already ahead of a lot of people.
Yeah.
The fact that you even want to improve your life or like continually, self-improvement type of thing, that's great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally. What's another strategy or practice?
So one that you haven't mentioned yet is deleting the apps on your phone and only using it on your computer. Again, nice. This depends what type of person you are. Like, I'm not on my computer all that much. When I am, I'm usually going through emails because I hate doing emails on my phone. It's too hard for me. But like I would, if I deleted, Facebook and Twitter off my phone, I would definitely not ever check those any more than once a day max, because I just don't pull out my laptop that much. So, if you're someone who's on your laptop a lot, maybe that's not going to help. But having just, one place that you're using this stuff that's maybe not as high traffic or accessible as your phone might be a helpful thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so that's another one I had. I've got a bunch, but we can go back and forth.
Sure. For me, if you're out, I'm borderline one of those people who will just Jackie Chan look at their phone, like when it buzzes. So right. For me, if I'm going out to dinner with a friend, or if there's going to be just a period of time where I know I'll be doing something, and I want to be intentional about it, I'll either try to leave the phone in the car.
Yep.
Or if it's my car's been broken into a few times, so lately it's just been turning it on silent or turning it off.
Right.
Just for that set period of time, and being able to kind of say, okay, if this is recognize this is a period of time where I'm not going to need the phone, and so to be fully present with my friend or to be present in what I'm doing, I'm going to try to turn it off.
Yeah. And stuff like that too. Your friends will appreciate that so much. I mean, I know I have, like, whenever I, am with somebody who is just, it's almost like it's sad that you almost notice when someone's not looking at their phone all the time, right? Like, I've definitely been on like a date or two where it's, afterwards I'm like, that person didn't check their phone at all. That's awesome. Like, that's like, people really do appreciate that.
Yeah, that's like above the bar now.
Yeah, I know. It's so sad. But people really do appreciate that. I think that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that one. Just turning it off. Sounds kind of terrifying, but that's a good one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I had one, schedule times to check your phone. That's probably a little hard. I mean, I'm not the best person at keeping a schedule.
Yeah, me neither.
And especially like if I do have a schedule, as soon as it's thrown off a little bit, like the whole thing, like I just don't even bother with the rest of it. Like if I've got a plan for the day, I'm going to get this done at these times. The first one that is like 10 minutes off or like doesn't go the way I thought it would be, just like I just like throw my hands. It's just like nothing else nothing else gets done. It's so bad. I need to really be better at like being fluid with my plans. But I mean, if you can schedule a time to check your phone, like maybe that means, turn off all of your notifications except for a calendar reminder at 2:00 every afternoon that says check your phone. I mean, right? Like something like that might be a great one to do. I also had adopt a hobby that takes you away from your phone, you know? So you go kayaking all the time. I'm sure when you take that thing out, you're very careful about not dropping it in the water. So like, if it was me, I'd have it like in a Ziploc bag in a pocket, you know, like kind of stashed away until I was ready to take a picture or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the service is so bad it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So like for hours I'm off the grid and it's great.
And that's what I was gonna say with mine. You know, I like to mountain bike, and when I'm out on the trails, lots of times I don't even get service. So you know, I'll be listening to music or something. I have an app that has maps, so I don't need service to see GPS where I'm at. I use that to navigate. Other than that, though, like I'm just out doing my thing. I mean, you can't really ride your bike and be checking Facebook anyway because you'll crash. So just doing something that takes you away from it. Like I cannot use my phone while I'm bike riding, so it's the perfect thing to go away for 3 hours, 2 hours on a bike ride, and you're away from it. You have that, like you're saying, that flow, 15 minutes of focusing on something, of kind of pouring into something. And so and there's so many different hobbies you could do. I mean, that could take you away from your phone, and they don't have to be outdoor things, you know. Painting, pottery, can't get clay all over your phone, you know, just whatever.
That's great.
So
nice. I like that. Something that's been good for me lately is if you find that you have a bit of free time, which I've come into lately because I'm kind of off for the summer.
Right.
I will spend all day on my phone if I'm not careful about it, you know. And I don't think I'm alone in that. So I have made a big, long list of better things to do than be on my phone. And it's on my Google Drive, so I can access it from my phone and look up, you know, better things to do. And it's also in my room, like posted.
Nice.
And I find that really helpful. I found that helpful for many years of just having this list of like, these are better uses of time, you know. That's and they might not feel as immediately gratifying as a notification, you know, because we get that gratification, and it's we don't need to work for it, you know, as much as we might need to work for like a workout or something like that, or doing a chore we've been putting off. But the fact of the matter is these things are better uses of time, you know.
Right. Yeah, totally.
That's been good.
Another one I put on, which I do try to do, and I'm pretty successful at it, is not looking at your phone first thing in the morning.
That's great. Yeah,
and
that's a big one.
It's awesome too, and I do use my phone as an alarm clock, so it can be tricky because I have to turn it off, and then, you know, get up and just leave it on my desk. But yeah, I mean, I will get through, you know, my shower, make breakfast, make coffee. I usually sit down and, you know, watch a bit of a TV show in the morning a lot of times, or I might read a little bit, and I usually won't even check and look at my phone until after the breakfast and coffee thing is done. You know, I might, or even sometimes until I'm ready to go out the door. And I don't know, it's just a much better way, at least I've found, just to be like rested in the morning. Like, I'm a huge morning person, so I don't know if, you know, there's gonna be people who don't relate to this, but my favorite thing in the entire world is a slow morning. Like, I wake up way earlier than I need to so that I can make breakfast and have a cup of coffee and sit down and watch a TV show and like just kind of have like a slow, like relaxed time before getting up. You know, on the weekends, my morning is probably like 4 or 5 hours long of me just kind of like, you know, making breakfast, just drink a cup of coffee, play a little bit of video games, like just like having a slow morning. I don't know why. It's just the most restful thing to me. And, you know, when I don't check my phone at the first thing in the morning, it's the best. And I'm less successful on the weekends with that. And I have found literally, like, I've woken up early before on the weekends to be like, I'm going to have a slow morning, and I'll get up, I'll sit up in bed and get on Facebook or something. And then like, I'll look over and an hour has passed, and I'm like, why did I even get up early? I literally just wasted an hour of my slow morning. That's like my time, you know? And so I need to get better at that on the weekends for sure, because on the weekends I have as much time as I want, right? So I'm not thinking like, oh, I gotta make breakfast and get to work and take a shower. So I definitely feel like that on weekends, but
that's still
I think
so
it's a
impressive,
huge thing, yeah. And I think, you know, like if someone needs to, if you use your alarm clock, or your phone as an alarm clock, and you check your phone every morning, I would suggest getting a real, you know, go to Walmart for like $3. I'm sure you can buy an alarm, like a actual just alarm clock. It does one function, and use that as an alarm, you know, and then you can get up and maybe your phone's a little ways off. You don't immediately reach for it and start going through stuff.
Yeah.
But I
that
think
might
that's
be
just a good way to start the day. I don't know. It's just good.
That's cool.
Restful,
that might be the next step for me.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a big problem for me.
Is
the minute I get up, the phone, like my hand just and I don't even need to set an alarm. Actually, most days, like I don't typically work till like 11 or so.
Right.
So I have these nice leisurely mornings where I can, get up and then go for a run and then get showered and stuff. But so I don't really need to have my phone there. But yeah, my hand reaches over there and I check. Yeah. Anyway. Scroll.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah. I'm kind of nearing the end of my list here. And so unless you have like a bunch that you want to name. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead? Do you have any more?
So this is one I read when I was doing some research, which was interesting. And I thought a good one is they said, limit the number of people or places that you follow. This one, going back to that Instagram one where I said where like I used to follow so many people, it took me like 45 minutes just to catch up. Once I got back on Instagram after that period, I unfollowed a bunch of people who like I really didn't like super, appreciate the beauty of their posts or whatever. So yeah, just unfollow them. And then it's way quicker. If you can limit the number of things to check on each app, then you're going to spend less time on each app, even if you're still checking it the same amount of times throughout the day. And that one I thought was a good one. Like if you're on Twitter or Instagram, it's probably like that one's more applicable on, or maybe Snapchat if you like to read story or watch stories. But I thought that was a good one. And then, another one that they mentioned, which this one would not work for me at all, but they said get your alerts through your email instead of on your phone. So, turning off your notifications and then having it send those same notifications instead of sending them to each individual app on your phone, it sends it to your email. That way you can check everything in one place. And if there's something important that you need to go to, you can, but you can see all your notifications in your email and do that. That for me would not help, but it would definitely streamline. Instead of going in and out of different apps, you just go to your email, check your notifications, maybe go into an app if you need to because something was important or you've seen it. So there you go. I thought it was an interesting one.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Get a flip phone. I'm just kidding.
I like that one. If you can find one.
Yeah, that's right. They're probably like more expensive now, right? Like
somehow
like retro hipster flip phone. I use i9. Was it i9 texting? I text with i9.
i9.
I think that's what
or was
it's
it
called.
T9?
T9, maybe that was it. Something like that.
Oh man, those were the days. Hey.
Anyway, yeah, that was when you could text in class in your pocket because you could feel the numbers. You had physical buttons, and you'd be like, yeah. Anyway.
Oh man.
I got like a couple more, so go for it.
This one's not exactly as concrete of an idea, but it's a helpful idea for me. So maybe it'll be a helpful idea for you, our dear listener.
Just one dear listener.
Yeah, just one.
Just
well, we're lucky if we have one right now.
Yeah, I agree.
No. It's been helpful for me to recognize how I'm feeling when I'm looking at Facebook and Instagram in particular. And what I mean when I say that is if I find myself starting to get jealous of people or starting to get kind of sad or feel kind of lonely, then scrolling, keep scrolling is not going to help. It's not going to help me anyway. Maybe other people would have a different experience, but I'd hazard a guess that quite a few people out there, if you are feeling lonely or sad, which, I mean, it happens. Life's like that, it's going to happen. Scrolling and to keep looking at everyone else's highlights, and all the things that they are up to, all the cool stuff that they want to show, it's not really going to help you. And so being able to recognize that feeling when it's coming and to be able to put it down and say, okay, yes, I'm feeling this way. That probably won't make me feel any better. I need to find something that will make me feel better, or there's a million other different strategies for trying to make yourself feel better, to get in a better emotional place, Yeah. So.
No, I think that's a really good one, because I think it can be very easy to get into that like comparison, keep up with the Joneses mindset, and then start feeling like your life is unfulfilling or something,
Yeah.
Like and it'd be so much more productive to go out and, make your own moment per se, even if it's not grand or Instagram worthy.
Yeah.
Going out on a walk is incredibly, relaxing and just, whatever it might be. I do think that's a really good point, is to just being aware of your mood and what's going on there.
And how the media affects it.
This one I have, it's kind of similar to what I already said with like set a time to check, but I said like allot your time. If you're someone who's good with a calendar, or a calendar helps, allot your time for things other than social media, or allot your social media time, or however you need to do that. If you're like, I'm going to check in the morning and at night, or I'm going to check in the middle of the day only, I don't know, some way of allotting your time could definitely be helpful. Again, that one's hard for me, because as soon as my allotted time goes askew, then the entire thing goes askew. But I'm sure it works for other people. And just with that, like just making deliberate choices, honestly, about your time, and that's one where, just being deliberate with how you're spending your time, recognizing that time is that is the one constraint that nobody can get away from, right? Like some people can get away from the constraint of money. Some people can get away from the constraint of work, or just whatever it might be. But no single person can escape time. And so just being aware that like everything we choose to give our time to is expensive, and that's precious. And what we're being deliberate about, or if we're being deliberate with our time, I think it'll be much more fulfilling. And again, it's kind of just going along with your attitude. Like it's something you got to kind of be intentional and aware about. But I think it's huge. So
that's great.
Yeah,
I like that.
I had two comments. I read a few articles, and I had two comments that I read on the article that I loved. One person's was they were like, how to keep social media from taking over your life or something like that. And they're like, step 1, delete all social media accounts. Step 2, prosper. I just liked it, because it was just like, it just got right to the point of like, some of this stuff we just don't need in our life to have a fulfilling life, to have a fun life, to have an enjoyable life. We don't need these things, like however many years ago, 15 years ago or 10 years ago, whenever this stuff started, like people were fine. People didn't always need to instantly get in touch with somebody else. Like people had good lives, and to recognize that like we may not need some of this stuff is a good thing to realize. So and then the other comment I said, what the other comment someone had was a drink. They were like, if you just drink, you don't have time for the social media. And I laughed at that one. Don't do that one if you're feeling depressed. That's
don't
not
do that,
a
kids.
good way to avoid that one. Or anyway, that I just laughed. It made me laugh.
That's great. That's awesome. That's a good note to end on, I think.
I have one more. Sorry.
Oh, you got one more?
Yeah, I should have
take us home.
Actually, but no, dude, take up a hobby of learning how to make cocktails.
Yeah,
dude, I just learned. I just tried making a frozen margarita the other week. Oh my gosh, so good. so I enjoy making those, like trying to like tweak it to get like, cause like sometimes it's like too watery, sometimes like way too much ice and it's like doesn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made a pina colada the other day. That was great. Like
Nice.
with like an iced pina colada. But yeah, so like, hey,
That's
maybe
a
that
good
is
use
one.
of time.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
It could also make you money down the road if you got a job
Yeah.
making drinks. The other one I had, which I read this one online and I was like, this is a really good one to remember, is don't let dating websites substitute dating, actual dating, which I thought was great because, you know, now with you know Tinder and Bumble and whatever else might be out there, you can spend so much time trying to find somebody or having, you know, you can have like conversations with people on these sites, and if you're finding that you're having tons of conversations but not going on any dates, I would say revise your plan a little bit and make an effort to actually go on physical dates, because those can take up so much time. I met Megan, my current girlfriend, on a dating website, and when I was in the process of, you know, when I was on those sites, yeah, it can take a lot of time of just talking to people and not actually going out and dating. And I thought that was a really good one because it's really specific, but I think these, you know, online dating is more prevalent and more useful now than it's ever been, and I'm sure it will continue to be so. And so I just think it's important to remember, like, why are you on these sites in the first place? To find someone to date. So go date, you know? And I think that can be important rather than just having these like endless conversations that end up not going anywhere. So, and some of that's out of your control, but also some of it is, you know, you can sit there for 45 minutes swiping on people, or you can, I don't know, message one of those people that's already matched with and ask them on a date. So I just thought it was a good one to remember.
Yeah.
Or go on friend dates. Friend dates are great.
Yeah. Like that.
So that's all
Nice.
I got. That's not as good of a note. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, man. Don't worry about it. I'm glad you said that one about dating. Yeah, no, that's
yeah,
good.
I didn't think about that one myself. I read that one on an article, and I should have kept it up on my computer so that I could have referenced it. So I did not.
Well, whatever. That's good, man.
So,
So there you go, listener. That's a lot of various techniques.
yeah.
Don't try them all at once.
You will
There's
drive
no
yourself
pressure.
crazy.
Yeah, you'll drive yourself crazy. You'll quit right away.
Yes.
Yeah, pick one, you know? Give it a try this week.
Yep.
Could be something big like a fast, could be something small like adjusting your notification settings, you know?
Totally.
It's all about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start a hobby like a podcast. Something
Yeah.
you invest time into that's purposeful. Whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd say if anyone tries something that we've suggested and they like it or didn't like it, let us know. I'd love to hear if something actually helped somebody, or if you have something that's totally different that we haven't mentioned. I would also love to hear about it, because if it's something that I could implement that would help me, then I definitely want to add that to my my best practices. So, yep.
Yeah.
As always,
Ditto.
it's reallyBadlyPodcast@gmail.com for any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten a single email as of yet. But
We'd
we
love
also
to hear
haven't
from you.
posted one. What am I talking about?
No, yeah, dude,
an
we're not
idiot.
even live
We-
yet.
Feel bad for us. We haven't gotten
Yeah.
any emails because
Send
literally
us-
no one has known this email even exists.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Real quick, something that inspired you this week.
Oh shoot. Just so I got to go last week, and I went out of town for a wedding. Got to meet up with some really good friends, two guys that I lived with, and then one of our really close friends. And we spent, you know, some time road tripping up to the wedding together and just spending time together. And I mean, one, that alone was inspiring. It was just so good. They've got such a great sense of humor and whatnot. But music can be really inspiring, and especially with music with friends. But there was a song that one of my friends played, and I was like, this is awesome. And it's called Drugs by Adam Jensen. And it's
Okay.
just good, man. It's just got it's just good. I don't know. Does that count? That's such a little thing. Just like
Dude,
a
that
specific
totally
song.
counts.
But
Love it.
no, yeah. I listened to that when I was riding my
Ins-
bike today, and I was just like bumping. So
Nice.
It was awesome.
Love it.
So
Adam Jansen?
Jensen. Adam Jensen, and it was called Drugs.
Drugs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Listen
All right,
to
I'm
it.
gonna go check out some drugs
Okay.
after this.
Yeah. Go take some ear drugs.
Yeah. Drugs for your ears.
Ears.
Okay. This has been Really, Really Badly Podcast Episode 7. Always a pleasure, buddy.
You too, Brandon. I love you, man.
I love you, bro.
Bye.
Bye.
Episode 7, we think. That's not our job to keep track of that.
You should be counting.